And that's why PG has my vote and why it's my privilege to introduce him to you now.
Thank you so much, Reverend Eggert. By now, it should be clear that politics as usual won't fix the problem, because politics as usual is the problem. The rising tide of mass shootings across our nation. Columbine, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Newtown, Roseburg, Oregon, and every time our reaction is the same. We weep, we mourn, and we say never again. But then nothing changes. No other country in the world lives like this, and we shouldn't either. No matter how unreasonable the NRA becomes, it has always been able to count on the unwavering loyalty and the knee-jerk support of my two Senate opponents in this race, Ted Strickland and Rob Portman. Shortly after the elementary school massacre in Newtown, for example, Senator Portman met with the parents of some of the murdered children. And when they asked him to vote for the background check legislation that was then before Congress, Senator Portman told them, and I quote, "You know, I have an A rating from the NRA, so I'm probably not going to support this." And sure enough, he didn't. Unfortunately, Ted Strickland's record has been even worse, which is why he earned not just an A rating from the NRA, but a rating of A+. Congressman Strickland voted against keeping assault weapons out of the hands of children. He voted to protect gun manufacturers, but opposed the funding necessary to enforce a child safety lock provision. And he even voted against banning the use of federal money to promote the commercial sale of elephant ivory and rhinoceros horns. Over the objection of police groups, Governor Strickland pledged to sign a bill allowing guns to be brought into bars and restaurants where alcohol is served. Let me tell you about the kind of gun reforms that I will pursue in the United States Senate. First, I will unequivocally push for universal background checks that aren't watered down with gun show or other loopholes. We must also make straw purchases of guns a federal crime and revoke the licenses of bad actor dealers who have a history of selling guns to gang members, traffickers, and third-party purchasers. I will fight to reinstate the ban against military-style assault weapons that Congress should never have lifted in the first place. Safe storage requirements for guns that are kept in homes, micro-stamping of ammunition so police can more easily trace bullets back to the specific gun that fired them, and a resumption of federally funded research into how we can make gun use safer, along with a repeal on the ridiculous gag order Congress passed in 2003, which bars the government from publishing the results of gun safety research. Political pundits often say that guns are the third rail of American politics, and that touching it is the quickest way to sink a candidacy. I know that tackling this issue head on will make me public enemy number one with the gun lobby. And I'm sure they'll come after me, just as they'll be coming after Hillary Clinton and any other candidate who has the courage to stand up and speak out for common sense gun safety in next year's election. I suspect we will also hear that background checks or any of the other common sense reforms that I've proposed today would not have prevented Newtown or the movie theater bloodbath in Aurora or stopped all of the other murder and mayhem that scar this country on a daily basis. And it is obviously true that no law or series of laws can stop every crime. But since when did not being able to do everything become an acceptable excuse for not trying to do anything? That we cannot build a society in which there are no victims does not mean that we should stop trying to build a society in which there are fewer victims. So if you agree that it is time to take action, if you agree that we can no longer allow narrow special interest groups to dictate our laws and dominate our politics, and if you agree that our country needs a new generation of leaders who are unafraid to stand up to the NRA and who will bring to the Senate a bold and practical agenda to reduce gun violence and make our streets safer and our families more secure, then I ask you to stand with me and my Senate campaign. And when we are told that the task is too hard or the road is too rough, when cynics say that the status quo is too entrenched and that the reforms we seek can never be achieved, let us stiffen our spine, redouble our resolve, and take heart from the words of the poet Tennyson. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. Some work of noble note may yet be done. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Thank you very much.